Hey, what is up, guys? Flex Media here, bringing you yet another video on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. Now, we are looking at our boys today. Well, our boys and gals. We are looking at Int Android 18, female, and then, of course, Android 17. They're both at the Rainbow Star level, and they are both freshly Extreme Z Awakened. Well, I mean, I did it a couple days ago, but, you know, there's been a lot going on the global... Okay, back it up. Not a lot going on the global side of the game, but there's a lot coming on the global side of the game, and there have been a lot of videos to be made, so that's just kind of, you know, that's how it goes, right? I am finally getting around to this video, however. Now, more than likely, I will be sort of splicing this video together. You know, I want to kind of jump around a little bit because I don't think it's going to be completely necessary to just show how dominant these two units are. To be honest, a couple of things happen here. So I underestimated the strength of this team, and I completely overestimated how challenging the Infinite Dragon Ball History event is. So essentially the deal... right here I was debating on how I wanted to set the rotation at this point, but basically the deal is we're running a full Target Goku / Androids team, of course, on the Infinite Dragon Ball History, and as it turns out, the first two stages of Infinite Dragon Ball History, I have historically, you know, sort of viewed as being not very challenging, but to this team, we absolutely just obliterated this event. I didn't even think about using an item. I remember when this stage first came out, it didn't exactly give me trouble because I knew to use defensive stacking units, and indeed, the Android 17 in particular is so strong. So strong. Let me repeat, so strong. The Android 17, man, he can stack up his defense very, very quickly. I will point out at certain points in the video where, you know, we're going to get some really, really crazy defensive stats on this guy. I mean, I'm talking crazy. I'm talking like LR Gohan level crazy defense. I had no idea. Honestly, like I said, I completely just underestimated how strong this team was. So between the 18 and between the 17, and then between the two, you know, Fusion 13s and Tech Golden Frieza, it's just a really, really strong team. I really enjoyed running this event. This is also a really good chance to show off the ability of the free-to-play Androids 14 and 15. In their ability to just completely, it's essentially like a cheat code where you get to see where the enemy super attacks. You get to see it the whole entire battle. And on the JP side of the game, I remember when they first dropped, people thought that it was possibly a glitch in the game. Like, oh yeah, they were supposed to just see it on that turn, but it looks like, you know, we're able to see for the rest of the battle. And as it turns out, no, that was correct. You know, it says it in the English, right? You know, in the description, in the passive of the card. So that ability, of course, is super useful. If you have a unit that's weaker defensively, of course, you're going to want them to avoid a super attack, and then, obviously, putting your stronger defensive units in harm's way is the way to go. We do get the fusion here. Now, at this point, I'm still kind of trying to set my rotations. I literally got the exact worst rotation I could have got. I had Android 17 in the second rotation to start out, and then Android 18 was in the 7th slot to start of the third rotation. So, is what it is, right? So it does take a while to kind of get them going here, but we actually do get them going, and they are quite a tandem. You know, so the thing is, Android 17. So we can kind of start with him a little bit. I've been over these cards in depth, but just kind of a quick little overview. So number one on his super attack, he's going to infinitely stack defense, which of course, as y'all know by now, is very effective in something like this, one of the longer events. Now also, so keep in mind, so before we move on, that effect only comes into play, I believe, at SA 15. So you're gonna have to get them all the way to SA 15. At the bare minimum, it's going to be like SA 14 or something. But SA 15 is when that kicks in. because I was going to try to rock him at SA10, and I'm like, what the hell? He doesn't stack. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, you got to give him an SA15. So just keep that in mind that you're going to have to get them both to SA15 before their super attack changes. It just kind of, that's how they do it, right? So you will have to more than likely use some Kais unless you've pulled 1,000 copies of them in the past. Do we finally have them on rotation? I believe we do. That was 1.59 from Android 18, by the way. So that's not terrible, right? We're just kind of getting going. I had to float her off, and she was starting on the 3rd rotation. I went ahead and left her in harm's way because she had type advantage there, right? But moving on to the rest of Android 17. So he's going to also greatly lower defense, which is not the greatest ability, but maybe in something like Legendary Goku event, that'll be effective. It's not a big deal, though. That infinite stack of the defense is what makes him so good. And then, of course, his passive. So his passive skill, he's going to start out with attack and defense 70%, which is pretty good. And then he's going to get a 17% chance to crit. Obviously a play on his number, right? His Android number 17. And then when there's an Android 18 in the same rotation, attacking in the same turn, he's going to get an additional attack and defense 80%, along with a medium chance of performing an additional super attack. So he actually does have the potential to do 3 super attacks because he can get one from his passive, and then of course, if you're smart, you're going to give him hidden potential additionals as well, because he's got that chance to crit in his passive. I just went ahead and gave him full additional. So you give him 15 additional, and then you give him, I guess, depending on if you want to give him 3 dodge. I don't remember if I did or didn't. But you can get like 15 additional and then 11 critical, or you can give him 8 critical and 3 dodge, whatever you want to do there. I think I did give him 3 dodge, just, I don't know, for the meme, I guess. So he's honestly, he kind of stole the show here. He is so strong. That's 2 million from Android 18, who is also very, very strong, especially in a longer event where she has time to stack up her attack. But before we move on to Android 18, Android 17, it should also be noted that he is an orb changer. And he changes AGL to Rainbow Key Spheres, which is really, really good on its own. Now, one thing to mention also, so I guess we can move on to Android 18. So starting with her super attack. So she stacks attack infinitely on her super attack, and she also greatly lowers defense. And they also do this weird thing with her, where they have her change Rainbow to Int Key Spheres. So oftentimes, so I ran them on the same rotation, correct? So oftentimes you're going to see 1,000 million Int Orbs. And it's just because Android 17 went ahead and changed all of the Key Sphere, all the AGL to Rainbow. And then she changes Rainbow to Int. Generally speaking, you want to change a certain type to Rainbow. This is going to open up more key paths for you. I would say the one instance it could be beneficial would be maybe if you're running her along with Int Cell. And it's not unheard of. They are on the Android Cell saga, I do believe. And then, of course, they are on this Target Goku team. So it's not necessarily the worst, but when Cell transforms, you just want to get him a lot of orbs. It doesn't matter what typing the orbs are. You just want to get him a lot of them. So it's just something to be noted, right? I don't know. It is weird the way they did it, but it turned out to be pretty effective here. And they essentially auto-super anyway. Their passive isn't built on... it's not built on, getting Key Spheres or not. I went ahead and gave the Dokkan attack to Android 17 here. Obviously, he's got type advantage. I just thought it was going to be a better sort of utilization of the Dokkan attack, but we have still not gone over Android 18. So, kind of starting with her passive, we went over the orb changing effects. She's going to start out with attack and defense 80%. And then similarly to the Android 17 and his 17% chance, she gets actually 18% damage reduction. So any amount of damage reduction, especially on a unit that doesn't necessarily have the most insane defense, is very, very nice. I mean, 18% might not seem like a lot, but, just keep in mind if you're looking at it, in the terms of something like Super Battle Road or Legendary Goku or something, you know, that's the difference between taking 100k on a super and then roughly 80k on a super. So it definitely can be the difference of life and death. And then, of course, you can extrapolate that on bigger numbers and harder hits and et cetera, right? She then gets an additional 70% attack and defense when an Android 17 is attacking in the same turn. And she also gets a medium chance of evading enemies' attack. And I think in this particular case, it is a 25% chance of evading enemies' attacks. So, I mean, guys, they're both really, really solid. They both also weaken regeneration in the STR Cell Dokkan event, but you don't really need to worry about that anymore. For whatever reason, they kept that. You know, I get it. It's just sort of one of those cheeky things they did, right? But they're both really, really good, and you guys are going to see it throughout the duration of this event. Particularly, you know, another thing, when we get, I don't know if it's this phase or the next phase, we're going to get to an STR Goku, and here he is. Man, on cue. Boy, I am on it today. But actually, Fusion 17, or wow, Fusion 17, Fusion 13 is going to be getting guaranteed crits and type advantage. He's going to be doing some serious damage to this Goku. Now, right now, I know it might seem hard to believe, but this Android 17, I will periodically check his defense. He's going to have close to 400,000 defense at this point, which of course is absolutely ridiculous for just like a normal like banner unit. You know, for those of you struggling with these long events, you know, I know particularly people still can't beat the Legendary Goku event, or, you know, in my opinion, they don't really attempt to beat the Legendary Goku event, in my opinion. Because when you have just simple banner units like this that are capable of those crazy, insane, that was from his potential system, by the way, but just the crazy, insane defensive stacking units. A lot of them are just banner units. Some of them are free-to-play units. You know, there's a really, really good combo of a future 17 and 18 unit that I could have brought on this target Goku team. And again, I just, you know, opted not to. I opted to go for a different route here. But guys, there's no excuses when you've got units like this that can perform this well in the long events. This is going to be a really, really nice showing from the Android 13s right now. They're about to get guaranteed crits because we are up against a Goku. And then, of course, we have type advantage here, just greatly lowered his defense. And then taking double digits, man. They sit in the fusion form. They're usually sit with support on rotation, which we do have. They're sitting at usually about 140, 150k defense. So even in about the only place they're going to take damage, truthfully, they'll probably take damage on like a Tech God Goku super attack. And then in UI Goku, they're going to take damage. Unless maybe you're, you know, rocking them at the rainbow level or something like that. But they're just... They're really, really good, particularly for that Legendary Goku event or anytime you're up against a Goku. That was a very, very nice dodge. That could have possibly been from her potential system, or that could have been that medium chance to evade. So, and then there we go. Android 17 is going to finish off this phase. And I think we're going to go ahead and just skip to the last phase here. So keep in mind that we do have support on rotation here. So this, you know, Steely Hatred Cooler is providing 50% defense. But look at this. Look at this. 646,000 defense. And honestly, not too shabby from the Int Android 18 either. So she has 147,000 defense, and she's getting 18% damage reduction, man. I mean... Guys, these guys are amazing. I mean, like, they're just literal banner units. There's 1.88. Now, yes, granted, support on rotation. We get it. But, like, I mean, that's so strong. I mean, we are about to just, you know, obliterate 2.71. Obliterate this Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. He just doesn't stand a chance at all, and we're 1.1 on the additional normal. It doesn't matter. Anything he does, he's not going to be able to hurt us. I guess if he were to super attack this metal cooler, we might take some significant damage. I believe, yeah, see, we're 47k on a normal. That's going to hurt on a super, but So right here, Tech Golden Frieza's passive is not active, so I went ahead and just went with Type Advantage because we are getting supered in that first slot. And then on the end there, it's not going to matter a whole lot. At the very least, so Frieza has damage reduction right now, 50%, and he's getting 30% defense from the androids 14 and 15, so this shouldn't hurt at all. And then also keeping in mind, like, yeah, that was nothing. So a lot of these units are lowering defense. I believe this Gohan can have his attack, or yeah, he can have his defense lowered. So all of these units that are attacking essentially are lowering his defense, except for the 14 and the 15. I believe they lower attack on super attack. So there's a reduction in defense. Here's a big old 2 million attack stat from Tech Golden Frieza. Yep, lower defense, and then of course the two androids are greatly lowering defense. So this is a special situation where lowering defense is going to be really, really helpful to us. And I suspect, I do forget sort of how this played out. Yeah, 694,000. Guys, I mean, that's unsupported. That's unsupported. That's unbelievable. 700,000. That's like Bergamo level. I mean, that's LR Kale and Caulifla level. That is insane. I'm honestly blown away. I'm really just blown away. He can't take damage against anyone. Now, yes, another thing to keep in mind, we do have him on that big 170% defensive leader skill as well. You know, and that's one of the things that the leader skill is good for, right? Being able to produce bigger defensive numbers. So obviously, you know, quite significant. Now, if we get any additional supers here or big time crits or anything like that, I suspect we'll be able to end Gohan's career here. Again, I do forget. Yeah, that's a big crit right there. Let's see what Android 13 can do here. At 1.8 million. But anyway, guys, you guys can see that these androids are really, really strong. I'm very, very impressed. If you guys are struggling in the long events, even if you're not, I mean, really, you should just grind them up to have these guys because they're that good. They're good enough to just want to own. You know what I mean? They're really, really strong. But again, specifically if you're struggling, like in the Legendary Goku, or if down the line there are more events, event missions added to the Legendary Goku event where you have to beat it with androids, you're going to 100%, 1000% want these two on your team, like for sure. Because remember, it's not as though, you know, UI Goku can negate Android 18's damage reduction. So she's always going to have that damage reduction. And there we go. We're able to finish off Gohan there for the very, very easy W. Android 17 is the easy MVP of this run at almost 700,000 defense by the time this is up. And there it is, guys. Smash a like for the androids and consider subscribing if you're new. I'll catch all of you in the next one. Later.